what's taken me 40 years to learn, some things that I wish I knew when I was a boy growing up. First thing is, don't care what anybody thinks. Now, I know all of you guys have heard this, but how many of you are actually taking that to heart? How many of you really don't care what anyone thinks of you? Now, in my experience, I became absolutely obsessed with what everybody thought of me. Now, this was born out of getting rejected, getting ridiculed, getting bullied when I was a young boy so much when I was just being myself. I was this light-hearted, free-spirited, loving, creative, very enthusiastic and expressive young boy. And that, of course, attracted ridicule. That hurt. That really hurt. And I started to think, well, maybe there is something wrong with me. And I didn't want to keep getting hurt all the time. I didn't enjoy being ridiculed. I didn't enjoy the pain of that. I could have, absolutely, stayed strong in my heart and stayed true to myself, stayed authentic in amongst all of that adversity and all of that challenge, but I didn't. The negativity just started wearing me down. It started grinding me down. It started to make me think again that there was something wrong with me, and maybe I am the weird one. Everybody else must be right because no one else seems to be like me, and I'm just attracting all this ridicule when I'm authentic. So I became acutely aware of how my energy was affecting people. Again, it became an obsession. I became so good at scanning my environment and scanning how my energy was affecting other people, what sort of response it was evoking in them. I became consumed with it, and I became such a good actor. I became so good at bringing myself to any situation in a way that was needed to not get ridiculed. So I became a chameleon, and I molded myself in any way, shape or form, so to suit the person or people that I was with, so to match with them, so to frequency match with them, which is absolutely fucking stupid. But that was my coping mechanism because I was getting hurt so much when I was being myself. I was like, well, I'm just going to be whoever I need to be to survive in this world and to not evoke ridicule. And so I became really good at just adapting to the situation, to the environment, to make them like me. Yet, in amongst all that, I cared so much about what other people thought of me. It was to the detriment of my own heart. It was to the detriment of me and who I am. It has caused me so much pain. It has caused me to live a life that is nowhere near the life that my heart longed to live when I was growing up. Nowhere near. And in fact, because I was so consumed in what other people thought of me, I was obsessed with it, and I was fitting in everywhere instead of belonging. I was just being whoever I needed to be. I lost myself in that. I was acting so much and I had so many masks on all the time that I lost track of the masks. I lost track and I forgot that I was actually this sweet, loving, kind, gifted, creative young boy and being who had so much to offer. I forgot that I was that one. I forgot who I was. I got lost in amongst all of the acting and all of the masks and all of these coping strategies. Now, I would encourage all of you to not care what other people think, because at the end of the day and at the end of this life, when you are on your deathbed, it's just going to be you, your heart, and God. That's it. It's just you, your heart, and life, and the universe. It's just you, your heart, life, God, the universe, and the choices you have made. It doesn't matter where you are at in life right now. If you're a youngster, if you're old, it doesn't matter what age you are. You can, in this moment, start giving less of a fuck about more things. Start giving less of a fuck about what people think. Who am I really? What is it my heart really longs to do? Get back in touch with your essence, who you were as a child. Get in touch with the truth of who you are and start embodying and living that. And guess what? Not everybody's going to like you. I remember a Churchill quote goes something along the lines of, so you've got some enemies. Good. That means you stood up for something in your life. It's the same same with being yourself. Guess what? Not everyone's gonna fucking like you. And the sooner you can get more comfortable with people not liking you, the better. Because at the end of the day, again, when you go to bed at night, you're the one that's either gonna be at peace with yourself and the choices you've made or not. When you get out of bed, you are either at peace with the person you are and the person you are becoming and the choices you're making or not. So where are you still caring about what other people think? You can drop that in a minute, and sure, there's going to be a backlog of habits and patterns and programming that you've installed to cope because of the hurt, because of the pain, whatever's happened to you to cause you to shut down. Of course, there's going to be a backlog of stuff to clear, but you can clear it. And it starts now by making a choice and saying, you know what? I am going to love and respect myself enough to be myself. It's not about being this extreme extrovert and not giving a damn at all how your energy affects anyone, as in rubbing it in other people's faces. It's not about causing unnecessary emotional reactions, but it certainly is about being authentic to your truth and to your heart, and to carry yourself in the world in that authenticity. Stop caring what other people think. Young version of me, little fella, you are a beautiful, beautiful young boy. And guess what? Your love and your light is going to rub people up the wrong way. You are going to evoke crazy responses from people, and there will be ridicule. But guess what? Eventually, everybody's going to see you and love you. Why? Because you love you. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to yourself. And guess what? Your love. A lot of people that this has happened to, empaths out there, sensitive ones, light workers, whatever you want to call us, those people, those ones have more love, have more light than the average person. And guess what? That love and that light highlights in other people what they don't love in themselves. So of course, they just don't know how to deal with that. When you're around just being yourself, you're bright, enthusiastic, loving, kind, deeply accepting and grateful self. When you're around, that highlights everything in them that's not that. So forgive them, for they know what they do. Just love them anyway, because everybody's at where they're at. And you love yourself, respect yourself, accept yourself, and stop giving a fuck about what people think. Give less fucks about more things. That's a good lesson that it's taken me 40 years to learn. Just be yourself, because at the end of the day, it's just me and God. At the end of the day, it's just me and life. It's just me and my own heart and my own conscience. And have I done my best today? Am I doing what I feel is the best thing I could be doing with my time and my energy? Not caring about what others think. Lesson 1. What is the second lesson? Body image. Oh my God. Body image is such a huge thing. Let go of the obsession with body image. And this crept in for me as well, guys. I'll share with you. It wasn't actually there. I didn't know about my body. I didn't know about looks. Because again, in primary school, I was just getting teased all the time. These ears were the same size from when I was born. It took me a while to grow into them. I copped it a lot. And because I was sensitive, because I love the arts and dancing and all of this stuff, I got fucking ridiculed. But I was really good at sport as well, so no one had a box to put me in. So they were just like, you're weird. We're just going to put you on over there in the weirdo. We don't understand you. Meanwhile, little Jay was like shining brightly and like, oh my God, life, yes, thank you, thank you, and continued to rub people up the wrong way until I was like, oh, okay, that's hurting, I'm going to stop doing that. But I never thought that I was good looking. I never thought about bodies or anything. I just saw the oneness, the sameness in all the beautiful uniqueness. Yeah, I started to get attention from girls in high school. When I first went to high school, I started to get all this attention about having a six-pack and a really nice ass and being cute. There was a lot of it coming. I didn't ask for that. It just started coming. You see, I'm smiling because, yeah, I did like it. Yet, because my self-esteem and my self-worth was non-existent, because if my self-esteem was healthy, if my self-worth was healthy, then I wouldn't have shut down in the first place. The ridicule I was getting from everyone wouldn't have shut me down. I wouldn't have let that affect me in such a way, because if I had a healthy self-esteem, that's self-loving, it's self-respecting, and I belong, and I've got self-determination, and I respect my uniqueness, and I'm worthy. Of course I'm worthy, and I'm an aspect of life, and I feel worthiness in my heart. Yet I had no self-esteem. I was so obsessed with what other people thought. I started looking outside for validation and approval, because all the input that I was getting from outside sources was telling me that I was wrong and there was something wrong with me. So I started again to obsess with that. And of course, that is a clear sign of low self-worth and low self-esteem. So in high school, when I started to get all this attention from girls, it made me feel good. It did. It made me feel good. They were loving on me, and I was always, there was girls after me and getting called cute and my ass pinched and kissing girls at lunch, and all this cool kind of teenage stuff was happening. Yet again, body image and looks, that all became an obsession for me. Because I was getting so much attention from girls, and that felt good, and it made me feel better about myself, because I felt shit about myself and I was lost. So I didn't want to lose that. So I became obsessed with body image, because it was how I looked. It was my physique that was getting me all of this attention. And I loved the attention so much. It just made me feel so much better about myself. So I didn't want to lose that. So I started becoming obsessed with making sure I kept my body and how I looked in a way that would keep the attention coming. Because if I lost that, then I'd have to face how I really felt about myself, which was no good. That attention that I was getting was filling a void. It started to fill this hole inside of me. Also, I thought it was filling a hole. It really wasn't. It was just a temporary fix and a band-aid, because it was my own love. It was my own attention that I was really looking for. But at the time, I was just like, wow, this is amazing. It makes me feel good. And the addict in me started to grow. This desperation really started to grow. I wanted it all the time, because if there was any gaps where I wasn't getting attention, then those gaps meant that I would be at risk to have to feel how I really felt about myself. So I just did everything I could to make sure I was always getting that attention. I did not want to lose it, because if I lost it, that would mean I'd have to just be with myself, and that would be ugly. I started obsessing how I looked, and because I was so good at scanning my environment and seeing what responses I was evoking in people, I was acutely aware of how people thought of me and how I was looking. And so I just became obsessed with looks, and if I started to put on any weight at all, I would be like, that ain't happening, and I would start training again. Now look guys, I've naturally been blessed with an athletic body, and it takes a bit for me to put on weight. But honestly, there were stages when I was like 14 and 15, when I started drinking a bit, I started to get these tiny bits of fat on my hips. I was like, what? I was like, nah, I can't have that. And so I would start training and making sure that I was always just ripped and in good shape all the time. And that just wasn't healthy at all. It wasn't coming from a place of self-love. It was coming from, oh my God, I'm getting energy from other people. I'm getting attention, and I need it and I want it. And again, this desperation was there. And so it was to the detriment of to who I truly am. And it just consumed so much of my thinking and my energy and my life, all of this energy that could have been put into me just being me. It was so much more than just body image for me. It was this whole image that I portrayed to the world. It was being whoever the fuck I needed to be to portray this coolness, to portray this confidence, to portray this I don't give a fuck and I'm good. And it was all bullshit. It was all bravado. It was all just a hurt little boy doing everything he could to survive in the world. Body image, absolutely, but just generally obsessed with how others saw me. comes back to the caring what other people thought of me so much. It was just making sure that I was being seen in a certain way, in a way that was different to how the world saw me when I was being myself, because I had so many horrible experiences of being myself for so long, and that causing me great grief. So I just did whatever I could to mold myself in a way on every level so that I fitted in with people and they liked me and I was cool and I wasn't copping all of this bloody ridicule. This is your vehicle. This flesh and bone isn't who you are. This flesh and bone is a temple for the soul and spirit that you are. You, your beautiful, true, authentic self, the soul that you are, is using whatever your beautiful, unique body is that you're in watching this video. Grab that body, love that body. You are the soul that is using this body. Gaia, this beautiful planet, has lent you the material for this body. It's not even your body. The earth has literally lent you this body, and it's formulated out of the earth, and you as the soul and spirit are infusing this body. It's a vehicle that you are docking into to have this human experience. You don't die. As if you die, you are an eternal being, a spiritual being of love and light. You are a great, beautiful spirit, an aspect of God, an aspect of life, an individual, unique stream of consciousness, of freaking awesomeness. Embrace that and embrace the body you have. This is a unique body gifted to you, a beautiful temple for you to live in. This is your church for the soul. It's the church and the temple for the soul. We are bombarded these days with what beauty is, and it would be hard work growing up and being out there in the world now with how much is pumped into us about you need to look like this to be happy, you need to look like this to be sexy. Girls, there's so much sexualized stuff out there. Don't give yourself away, ladies. Honestly, you have the power. You're the feminine. Respect yourself and make a man work for it. Make him prove that he is going to stay. He truly loves and cares for you and wants to respect you and meet you and raise you up. He isn't just looking to get his end in. And sadly, there's a lot of guys that are good at saying the right things, but really their intention is off. You've got to get better at tuning in and what's the truth and working on your self-esteem and self-worth and knowing that your body is just absolutely valuable. The gift that is a female's body, and a female that loves a man and wants to give him that as a gift, is a gift. So treat it as a gift. And you guys, I know you're pounded with all this stuff in social media about your looks and how you need to be and how thin you need to be and all of this. Some of the most beautiful people that create such joy in me, when I'm around these people, there's this sense of peace because they truly love and accept themselves. And I've met several of these people that are nowhere near the traditional good looking. They've often got a bit of weight on. They're not this traditional good looking person, but when I'm around them, because they actually love and treasure themselves, it's just this beautiful experience. It ripples out and it's just so contagious when someone really, really does actually accept and love themselves. And it has this wonderfully positive effect on people around them. So really, beauty is within. And when they say that, it's because the essence that you are is love, that divinity that lives within you, that aspect of life that you are, is infusing this physical body. Beauty is within, guys, and you are beautiful without whatever body you are in. Learn to accept and learn to love it. And boys, men, oh my God, there's so much out there as well about us. Girls only want six packs and you got to be gymming all the time and doing all of this. As a man, it's great to exercise, and I recommend exercising for all people, all my students, everyone that I work with, females and men. It's good to be stretching. It's good to be doing regular exercise. The body needs that. It's good to move energy. It's good to be strong. It's good to be flexible. It's healthy. It's a better fit for the soul. But everybody's body is different. So your fit and your healthy might look completely different to someone else's. Men, You do not need to smash yourself at the gym. I mean, if you love it, go for it. That's a different thing. If you just love the training and the physical exertion, and you love the results of the physique and the transformation of your physique, I get the fun in that. It's different for me now, but I get that physical release, that more masculine love of training. The thing is, where are your motivations? Check in with your motivations. Are you just doing that because you don't feel good enough in the body that you're at? You're doing it because social media tells you need to look a certain way to get your perfect fit, your perfect partner. If your partner is only with you because how you look, and that goes for men and women, if a man's only with you because you're size 8 and you've got these dimensions and this size breast and you look like this and you've got your eyebrows on or whatever, that's not real love. That's not real love. Same with you men. If your partner, if a woman's just like, oh, you've got a bit of pudge there, you know, like, oh, fuck, man, sort your shit out. It's embarrassing to be out with you. You need to be looking better. That's not real love either. I mean, that's different if you're turning into a slob. That's different if you're being lazy and a slob. But you know what I mean? If such a large portion of your self-love and or the love in your relationship is about the physicality of it, then there's an imbalance there. Body image is a huge thing. Learn to love your temple. Learn to love this meat suit, this flesh and bone, this beautiful gift that you are wearing as the soul that you are. Learn to love and treasure and accept it. It will respond to that love and that nurture, because, hey, how often do we treat this body cruelly, in a cruel way? Oh, yeah, you know, I don't like my breasts, or I don't like the size of my fucking dick or my legs, or I don't like my fucking belly, I don't like my muscles or my nose or my face, whatever it is, because there is obsession out there about that. That's cruel. This thing hears you. You're wearing it. It's like, what? I'm a part of nature. What? And this thing that's indwelling me and living within me is giving me all this grief and telling me I'm bad. It hears you and it responds. It responds to you. You guys, I'm sure, have heard that experiment, how you've seen water particles, how they respond to loving affirmations and really loving music. You see how they respond, and how they also respond to fear. Well, there's a lot of water in this body, people. Speak nicely to it, love it, and truly, it's a part of deeply treasuring who you are, because, you know, this is with you until you as the soul leave. Body image, care less. If you care less about your body image, if that is taking up too much energy, if it's taking up too much headspace, how you look. And guys, I've seen it with the young girls, like how obsessed they are with, and the boys as well, just obsessed. And I see so many beautiful women, and I'm like, you don't need to do that. You are just this shining bright gift. Wow, look at you, look at the feminine, these young women, and women of all ages. I'm like, that's beauty. And they don't see or recognize the gift that just they bring in being the feminine. And it's sad to see them battling, both men and women battling with this. I don't look good enough. If we love ourselves, if we really love who we are, then it matters not what anyone thinks, because we will be at peace and we can be anywhere in the world, on the world, around any people, and we're good because we love and accept ourselves exactly as we are. Body image, that's took me a long time. I have such a beautiful body. I've treated it with such disregard, with addictions and all sorts of behavior, and it just keeps bouncing back. And now I absolutely treasure my body. Honestly, I have such a beautiful body. It's put up with me, filling it with toxins, all this negative thoughts for so many years, and it's just, you know, it's really this beautiful relationship I now have with my body. And so I train now, not every day. Well, I most days I do some amount of stretching and body weight exercises, light body weight exercises, and I go to the gym maybe once every week or fortnight. Maybe it's just not an obsession. But I like being strong. I like having my core strong. It makes me be able to deal with things better in my day-to-day living challenges and things. So I like having a strong body. So I do stretch. I do some gym. I do some body weight exercises, and it's through self-love, and my body enjoys it because I'm not putting it under such great duress and like, fucking come on, let's go, and breaking it down from a fearful place. Body image, there you go. The third lesson I've learned, which could be controversial to some, is that you will feel so much better without alcohol, without drugs, and dare I say it, caffeine. Any drugs and alcohol and caffeine are toxins. You will absolutely feel more connected and experience more clarity in your life, personally, professionally, and spiritually, without drugs, without alcohol, without caffeine. Caffeine can be tough to give up, absolutely, and of course drugs, and of course alcohol, especially because our culture and our society is bred on that being such a social thing. Yet, are you leaning on these things because you don't really feel okay within yourself? Are you okay to be in a social environment and not have a drink, or not to be using drugs? Are you okay to get up in the morning and not have 5 cups of coffee during the day? Are you using coffee because your energy levels aren't right and you need the boost to get through the day? Are you using coffee and caffeine so to not feel as you really feel? A lot of people, guys, alcohol, drugs, and caffeine, they're a crux, because when things start to slow down a bit, or they're with themselves, or when feelings start to come up, it gets too much, and their habitual pattern is to just go grab a drink, have a cigarette, have some caffeine, use some drugs. There's a lot of stuff out there about drugs in the spiritual movement and using that to have higher experiences. There are some drugs, and people facilitate the use of drugs to have those experiences. And yeah, certain drugs taken in a certain way, under certain conditions, can absolutely open you up to different dimensions and different parts of yourself, higher realms, higher dimensions. Now, the job is really, the ideal of that is, if you have that experience with whatever drug you're having, if you have that higher experience, the work after that, or the job after that, is to go, oh wow, I've had that experience, that's something that I can experience naturally, let's get to work. There's no free lunches, guys. You will never experience permanent change if you're addicted to drugs, if you're addicted to that state, and you can only achieve that state of being by using a substance external to yourself. So drugs can open us up to a reality that we deep down we know is a reality we can experience 24/7. It's like, oh, it's more of a remembering sometimes, an awakening. Yet the idea is to then get to work with your personal spiritual development, and you're clearing your psychological clarity. And guess what? As you clear out this vehicle of fear, of all the patterns and programming that keep you small, all of the fear, basically, as you refine your character and become more in service of love and uplifting of life, the more you do that, the more you clear toxins. Negative thinking is a toxin. Alcohol, coffee, cigarettes, nicotine, drugs, you clear out toxins on every level of your body. Guess what? Naturally, these higher spiritual experiences start to happen, because the soul that you are is a very refined energy, and that very refined energy can only be in this physical body so much if it's full of gunk. That makes sense. You want to make self safe host for spirit. That's been said for aeons of time, and that is making self-safe host for spirit. It's clearing out all the toxins, because when you do that, naturally the spirit that you are, that spiritual experience that you're seeking as a human being, naturally that will start to anchor, ground, and activate. We don't need to use all of these tricks. It's a very natural process that we're all undergoing. What we got to do is refine our character and get psychologically clear and refine our system, and part of that is getting rid of toxins. I have absolutely soared since giving up alcohol, since giving up drugs, since giving up caffeine. They were a huge safety blanket for me, and it all came down to me not wanting to feel how it really was for me in this body, not really wanting to feel what I've just talked about, which was caring so much about what other people think and the effects that that had on me over the years, the body image stuff, everything. It was my way of escaping not feeling any of that stuff, and the fact that I hadn't remained authentic and I didn't really know who I was anymore because I put so many masks on because of my obsession with what everybody thought of me. That was my way of escaping and not feeling that. Alcohol, drugs, nicotine, caffeine. Since giving up all that and clearing out all the toxins, my goodness, my connection with myself, with life, with nature has just increased tenfold. So you will feel better. Absolutely, you will feel better. Absolutely, you will feel better. Let's get clear on that. And you will experience more clarity without alcohol, without drugs, without caffeine in your life. The next thing I've learned is choose your sexual partners wisely. This is a big one. Did you know, ladies, every man that you have sex with leaves some of his DNA in your brain? This goes back to respecting yourself and not giving yourself away and making a man work for it. Your sexuality, your body is, again, it is a gift. And I touched on this when talking about the body image, yet it's such a big thing out there. And so many people are looking for their self-esteem through sexual acts, through sexual interactions. You don't need to harm yourself in that way, guys. You can find the self-love, the validation, the approval from in here. You can give that to yourself. And it's the same with men. You don't need to fuck every time that you have an urge. There is such a deep empowerment to not suppressing our sexuality as a man, but fully embracing the power and the creative potential of your sexuality, yet being in mastery of that. There is something super empowering and such a wonderful experience about not being pushed and pulled by your genitals, by your sexual urges. And we have that as men a lot. It's naturally inbuilt into our bodies to keep the race moving forward, to procreate. So there's more humans, so the race continues. That's there. There is this beautiful experience that we can achieve, though, where we just absolutely embrace all of those feelings, yet we become in mastery of our sexuality. Zero suppression, guys. We allow all of that energy there. We are respectful and in integrity energetically with that energy. We're not feeling it and sending out all of these energetic streamers. Oh, I want to fuck you. Oh, look at her tits. And no, we're contained. We're acknowledging our feelings, and they are our feelings. That's our sexuality. It's got nothing to do with anyone else. And girls, there is so much of this wanting to be seen and wanting to be loved and wanting to be nurtured and getting validation and approval and love from outside sources through sexual interactions. And I've just got to touch on this again, girls, women, recognize, look at yourself in the mirror. You are a gift. Your body is a gift. Giving sex is a gift, not something just to be squandered. Because then it loses its sacredness. There is something really sacred about a woman who really loves and wants to share that love sexually. There is something absolutely sacred about that. And if the woman is just very promiscuous and just sleeping with whoever and whenever, it loses its sacredness somewhat. Choose your sexual partners wisely, and again, this comes back to self-esteem, it comes back to self-worth, it comes back to self-love, it comes back to what am I trying to fill within myself. There's a void in me somewhere. If I'm addicted to anything, drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever it is, if I'm addicted to it and I need it, what is that thing, that external behavior giving me that I'm not giving to myself? Because sex is such an obsession on planet Earth, and sex is fucking awesome. What a beautiful gift that we have here is sexual interactions. Love it. And sadly, in some spiritual schools and teachings, sex is seen as a bad thing and needs to be suppressed, but it's not that at all. It's sex just needs to be raised up and in the service of higher love. That's the ultimate goal of it. Being in mastery of our sexuality and using it as another tool to express love, to communicate love. Sex is another way of communicating. It's one way of communicating love. It's a very beautiful way of communicating love. Let your sexual interactions be loving, not just coming from a place of urges. A lot of people get a little fooled when they feel that pull, that sexual desire and attraction, and that can be nature. The enthusiasm for the bodies, and that can be nature moving through us and being like, oh, this is a good combination of energies, and there can be this real pull. You want to tear each other's clothes off and get down to business. There can be that experience, and a lot of people can be like, that must be love, but not necessarily is it always love. Often it's when we have those experiences, there is a compatibility on a physical level and maybe an emotional level. On certain levels, there is a compatibility. Physically, definitely, if that pull is there, there is that urge and that, yes, this could be a good thing, a good interaction, and that's our nature's drawing us towards that, to make babies, basically, to keep the race going. Yet the compatibility on other levels of our beingness might not be there, and that can be harmful. Not necessarily do you guys fit as souls, or on a mental level or an emotional level. I mean, if you don't fit on an emotional, mental and spiritual level, but the physical bodies are like, you're hot, let's fucking go, then it can cause harm, guys, on other levels. And look, I get it. It can be difficult. I'm just sharing with you what I've learned, and over 40 years, everybody you sleep with, you are connected with permanently. You connect an energetic cord into that person, and you're connected with that person permanently, and everyone they have slept with, and so on and so forth. So it can be a bit of a nightmare being connected, because a cord is like a pipe, which means if you've had a one-night stand, or you've been in a long-term relationship and it wasn't an amicable breakup, and they don't like you, and they're projecting a lot of negative energy at you and blaming you and having these attack thoughts all the time, this cord is like a pipe, and all of that energy can come down and affect your system. There's another video on my channel about energetic cords and connections, because that's a big thing. Choose your sexual partners wisely. You're going to be connected to this person until you stop breathing, and until they stop breathing, and you're connected to whoever they've slept with as well. So if they're really promiscuous, you can be connected to a lot of people. Now look, you can cleanse those cords, and there's work energetically you can do, but it's not the same as not having that connection there. We want loving, unconditionally and truly uplifting and supportive connections, heart-based connections with all of our sexual partners. So choose your sexual partners wisely. It's a beautiful gift on planet Earth, and an experience where two loving, self-respecting people can communicate that joy and have and experience great pleasure and ecstasy through that communing. Another lesson, I think it's the 5th lesson, is you have purpose. Absolutely, you are meant to be here. If you are here, you are meant to be here. There is a reason for you being here, and you have a purpose. You have a purpose as a soul. You have a purpose as a human being. Absolutely. What is your purpose? Why are you here? If you're really honest about it, and you start exploring who you truly are and your heart center, you will know what you're being called to do. And all of us are unique. None of us dream the same. I love that. There is as many goals and dreams as there are souls, as there are people. You are a unique flavor and stream of life. You have this beautiful, unique body, and you are here for a reason. You have purpose. So find your purpose. There is nothing more rewarding than living your purpose. When you are living your purpose, organically, you cease caring about what other people think, because your heart's singing so much and you feel so in place. The body image stuff, if you've got that dissipates. You don't want to get smashed on any substance. You want to clear all addictions, because they're not filling a void in you anymore. If you're living your purpose, your heart is singing, your cup is overflowing. There is such a love in that, because to live your purpose, there must be a degree of self-love and self-respect and self-esteem and self-worth happening. And that's a beautiful thing. Find your purpose, live and embody your purpose, and you will find that when you do that, a lot of the issues that you have, a lot of the stumbling blocks and a lot of the fears and a lot of the things that are keeping you small and contracted and less than who you truly are will naturally fall away, because you've found your purpose. But you don't only know your purpose in theory, you are getting after it, taking action. You are taking steps and actualizing that potential, because all of us have great purpose and great potential. Our purpose and the potential of that is there for everyone. But there's a big difference between that purpose and that potential staying there and it actually being actualized on the ground. That's your job. That's about changing your behavior and doing what you need to do, transforming yourself as a human being on the ground, so to embody that purpose, to kick those goals and to serve your purpose here. And the world needs you guys. The world needs you to be you. You beautiful soul watching this video. You are so loved and treasured. Oh my God. Get in the mirror. This goes for the body image thing and the caring what other people think and the finding your purpose. All of it. Get yourself in front of a mirror and practice this every day, where you stare at yourself in the mirror and you just love the shit out of yourself. And guess what? You're gonna cringe. How many of you feel uncomfortable looking at yourself in the mirror? This is naked too. Don't be having no clothes on there. Bear it all, eyeball yourself, and don't move your gaze. Feel all the uncomfortableness, all the awkwardness, all the self-loathing, all the self-hatred, every part of you that isn't in beautiful acceptance of what you are seeing in the mirror. Do that every day, guys. Get through the pain, get through the awkwardness, and arrive at this liberating place of freedom where you're like, I got you, I love you, yo. Wait, I'm walking past mirrors and I'm like looking back now like, yo, what's up? And that's not about an obsession with body image. That's just, you're looking good. Or, I love you, bro. Yeah, you're killing it. You're kicking goals. You're getting after it. You've found your purpose. You're working towards fulfilling your destiny. There's nothing more rewarding than fulfilling what I like to call your divine destiny. Who you are as a soul wants to do things on this earth, wants to be around certain people, wants to learn and grow and experience and be a bigger, brighter, wiser soul because of the experience you've had in this body. That's a partnership that needs to happen. The human being, the personality, the ego needs to be on board. It's like the human being needs to want to serve the soul and want the soul to come in and have this beautiful partnership of letting the soul take the reins. And the human just gets out of the way and is like, yeah, I know it's better when you're in charge. I know it's better when my higher self's in charge, when my heart's in charge. Yeah, absolutely. When I'm in charge and all of the human fears and all of that stuff's in charge, it gets messy really quick. So I'm happy to get out of the way and be like, yo, yeah, I feel inspired. How many of you have inspiration of how you could be better and how your life would be and how with this wonderful career that you could live and the holidays and the family and the work that makes your heart sing? I'm sure all of you get impressions of that. That's coming from that higher, clearer part of you. Your job as the human is to partner with that, to work and transform yourself, so to embody the changes that you need to make that soul on the ground. You need to become the person that has that thing. If you want a thing, then become a person that has that thing. You can't just want a thing and then go about your business, head in the ground, head in the sand, not changing anything. There's so many people out there that pray all the time and they've got their vision board with everything they want and they're visualizing all the time and they're doing all this great work, yet then they walk out of their room and they're just like back to exactly how they are every day. That doesn't work. You can't create anything new by doing nothing new. You need to change. You need to be a new person to experience new things. You will never receive something you've never had If you don't become someone you haven't been, yeah? Find your purpose, get after your purpose. It's very rewarding, heart singing, and guess what? There is such a freedom and deep connection to all life when you're doing that, and you naturally start giving less fucks about more things, and you definitely don't care what other people are thinking so much, because it's like, oh, I'm being me, yay, I'm just being me. And all of a sudden there's this real love for other people wherever they're at, because it's like, I woke up this morning and I'm really starting to move into these new experiences of personal spiritual development and teaching being my full-time job. I'm so close to it. I'm making money from it. I'm doing so much of it. And I woke up this morning, I was just like, oh, my heart was just open. I'm like, I actually like being me. Things are changing. I really love me, but I also like being me. I'm embracing my uniqueness and who I am. That's it. That's a beautiful place to be. Purpose. You have it, uncover it, live it. Now, let's move into our final thing. And this goes without saying, I feel. Yet I most certainly didn't live from this place. Treat others how you wish to be treated. Treat everyone with kindness, with unconditional positive regard, with generosity, and with love and with care. Just treat everyone with self-respect. Everybody's on their own journey. Everybody is where they're at. And if you know that we are all souls traveling through eternity, there's no judgment. Because guess what? Some souls are older than other souls. Some souls are younger. Some souls are meant to be having a life of absolute destruction. It's a part of their learning. Everybody is where they're at and learning different lessons. Everybody is at a different stage of the evolutionary journey. The more compassion you can bring to yourself and to everyone else, the more acceptance and the more unconditional love that you can bring, and just generosity of spirit, the more of that you can bring, then the better the world's going to be. You just don't know why another person is being the way they are. It might look like they've been an absolute arsehole. If you don't know what's going on in their life, you don't know if they've experienced horrific abuse, you don't know if they've just lost their parents, you don't know what's going on for the person. And too often in our culture, in our society, we are so quick to judge and to sit in this self-righteous condemnation. In fact, it's very much encouraged from a young age, which is sad, guys. Gossiping and talking about other people, and oh, she's wearing that, or oh my God, you know, he did this or he didn't do that. Oh my God, did you see that dress they're wearing? Or whatever. So many people are so caught up in everybody else's business. This is a big lesson as well. Mind your own fucking business. What other people are doing, what other people think of you, what they're saying and being has nothing to do with you. It's not your business, unless, of course, they're overstepping boundaries. It's got nothing to do with you. Live and let live. Gossiping, judging other people, talking about other people behind their back, thinking about other people in a negative way is toxic. It is poisonous. It's poisonous for you. It's poisonous. That negativity and that gossip is poisonous for you and your own system. And remember, we're getting rid of toxins from our life. And it's poisonous for the other person. Everything is energy, guys. Just because they're not standing physically with you, if you're attacking them, it's like you're punching them anyway in the head. It's like you're saying all that stuff to their face. That's nasty. That's not the world that I want to live in. So I'm very, very aware of my thoughts, how I'm thinking, and working very hard on refining all that. Because I only want to put out loving, kind, uplifting, supportive and wise energy. And what goes around comes around. Treat everyone how you wish to be treated. And I often have thought to myself, wow, when someone's gossiping to me, I'm like, if they're talking about that person behind their back, and they do it with lots of people, then of course they're going to be talking about me behind my back. And I just feel very uncomfortable with that. I don't feel safe, and that's not someone that I want to be around. What sort of world do you want to live in? I know that this world, in fact, the nature of this world and humanity The ideal is one of unconditional love, one of compassion, peace, harmony, unity, and wisdom. And some people are like, that's a fucking fairy tale, mate. It ain't no fairy tale, but it won't be made so unless we make it so. It's up to us to embody the changes in the world that we wish to see. If I want to see more love, compassion, unity, if I want to see more kindness, then it's up to me to bring that to the world. And that ripples out. And the effect of love, the effect of kindness, the effect of compassion is immeasurable. A random act of kindness to someone can cheer them up, open their heart. They go home. Then they love on their partner and their kids like they haven't in months. It raises the family up, and then the family goes off to work and school, and they raise other people up. There's a beautiful ripple effect from love. And this is a really important lesson that I've learned, is treat others how I wish to be treated. And don't just put on a show when you're on camera, not when you're teaching. This is for people that are teaching and maybe have positions of power. What you see is what you get. Because the true testament to good character is what you do when you know that no one else will know about it. It's who you are behind closed doors. Are you still behaving ethically? Are you still behaving loving and in a loving and kind way when you're really, really stressed out and you want to lash out because you're fed up? How are you behaving when times are tough? And who are you behind closed doors when you could get away with something? But of course you can never get away with anything because life always knows and is watching. So be kind, be loving, be generous, be accepting and compassionate, and just be the very best version of you. Lead by example. That's the best thing we can do. There's a lot of people out there that like to preach and tell everyone what they should do. And I don't know about you, but when someone's bombarding me with all of their esoteric wisdom or what they know, and they're really kind of literally bombastic with it and like trying to force it down my throat, that's not helpful. That's not helpful at all. The best way that we can help others is by leading by example, is by working through all of these issues that so many human beings have. The inner critic dynamic, the obsession with what other people think, the body image stuff, the thinking that sex is the gateway to love, the looking outside of for approval, love, validation, the consumption of toxic substances, whether that is external substances, drugs, alcohol, all that sort of stuff, or if it's just the toxins that we create in our own minds with how we treat ourselves. Too many people are too cruel to themselves. Be kind to yourself, love yourself. It's the best thing you can do for yourself. That's the best way, guys, that we can have an effect and a really loving, uplifting impact on the world. If that's important to you, it's important to me. The healing is important to me, guys. The healing of humanity, the reconnection with nature, the helping people remember that they are more than just flesh and bone, and of course they are worthy and lovable. They're an aspect of life. Of course you are. And yeah, there's just this stuff that's been layered over our heart and your heart to survive in this world. And guess what? All of that is healable. Everything is healable. You can come back from anything. Don't let anyone tell you different from that. So be the change that you want to see in the world. That's not just a sticker. That's not just a canvas print. It's actually genuinely being the change in the world that you wish to see. You want to see a unified planet. You want to see a planet that esteems community and is a non-judgmental place to live. Then be that, embody that, bring that, live that, breathe that, and you'll be surprised at how much effect you have on your environment and other people. Sometimes the most simplest thing, one word, one sentence, or just someone seeing you acting in a way of kindness can be a life-changing shift. So don't downplay you doing your best every day to make this world a better place, because if you're coming from the mentality of what can I do, I can't do anything, then nothing's going to change. Absolutely, doesn't matter what walk of life, you are walking in or what walk of life you have come from. Doesn't matter your age, race, religion, any of that. If you are genuinely doing your best every day to make this world a better place, that is a bloody awesome thing, and I love and appreciate you for doing that. Find your purpose, live your purpose. You are worthy of love. Stand in front of that mirror and love the hell out of yourself every single day, because you're worth that. And when you really love and respect yourself, truly here, there will be no more seeking fame. If you're seeking fame, there will be no more obsession with I need more money. There will be none of that, because organically you will be in place. You will have everything that you need and more, and your heart will be open and singing. When you go to sleep at night, you'll be at peace, and when you wake up in the morning, you'll be like, thank you. And I am grateful for you for watching this video. I hope it's been of value, and thank you for liking and subscribing. It's a big help. I'm loving the YouTube content at the moment. This is Jay from Conscious Conversations. Big love, stay bright, remember, never ever give up, and let's change this planet.